You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Salutations, dear listeners, and also elk, moose, and ibex listeners. Honestly, all four-legged mammals are very welcome to listen to this show, and two-legged ones, and one-legged ones, or 14-legged ones, or 15 billion-legged ones. In fact, as you know, anyone is welcome to listen to this show except 100-year-olds. For this is Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast for all ages from to and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and this week, listeners, I want to know what you think. Well, what do you think? Hello? Hello? Well, you're obviously not speaking loud enough, otherwise I'd hear what you think. I really need to know for this week's show. Can you just tell me what you think? If you could maybe yell it out of your window, or perhaps into a megaphone, a microphone, a saxophone, and then maybe I can just kind of catch what it is that you're telling me, and it'll really help me out with this week's episode. Okay, everyone, on the count of three, and go. No, sorry. I mean, all I can hear is, well, this weird noise that seems to be coming from inside the dustbin. Or if you live in the US, it's a trash can. We call it a dustbin in the UK, even though you don't really put dust in it. Dust just sort of goes everywhere. You usually put, like, rubbish in it, trash it. Yes, okay, I'm coming. Whee! Oh, hello, what are you?
No, I don't want to go to the zoo.
No, I said, who are you?
Sorry, I've got trash in my ears. I'm the Dustbin Fairy, and I'm here to grant you a trashy wish.
Just one wish?
Yes, the others got thrown away with the trash. Sorry.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Right, one wish. Oh, that's hard, isn't it? I could pick anything. I could pick, like, world peace, or I could pick a swimming pool full of crisps. But I think, actually, for my one wish...
Hurry up!
Okay. I want to know what the listeners think.
You want to be sidekick?
Yes, exactly. I want to be psychic. Why am I dressed in an outfit like Robin from Batman?
You said you wanted to be sidekick.
No, I want to be psychic.
Oh, okay. Granted.
Why am I on a bike? I didn't mean to be on a bike. Linda, help. I'm on a bike. Linda.
Who is Linda?
No one knows.
You said you wanted to be cycling.
No, psychic.
Sorry, I got trash in my ears.
I said psychic.
Oh, I can hear now. I don't know what that is, though. Let me look it up on this phone somebody threw away. Tap it, tap it, tap, tap. A tap it, tap it, tap, tap. A tap it, tap it, tap, tap.
Okay, listeners, while the Trash Fairy does that, whatever it is doing, don't forget that if you have any questions you need answering, or you just want to send in a joke, or what wish you'd ask the Trash Fairy for, then please get your irate saddle geese to help you email me at podcast@comedyclubforkids.co.uk. And if those same grown-ups would like to support this show, they can sign you up to an ad-free version, the Linda edition, via the Acast Plus link at the bottom of the pod blurb for a very small fee. You can also come and see our live shows at comedyclubforkids.co.uk and grab our t-shirts and book at comedyclubforkids.store.
Okay, I got it. You can be a psychic now.
Ah, amazing.
I'm off now, bye!
Wow. Oh my goodness, I can hear everyone's thoughts. And what they're saying is, we want the most importantest bit.
Our viewers have a few more questions about the Psychic Friends Network.
Returning once again to Radio Nonsense with all her mighty wisdom, it's Eleanor Morton, a.k.a. Eleanor with a shell on her lapellina, a.k.a. Ellie Mortal, Wizard of the Whiffy Realms, and as all our Norwegian-speaking listeners will of course know you, Jeg har aldri sett en buss før. But of course, Eleanor, you are most famous for your skills at speed sitting, for your popular Grammy Award-winning club hit where you remix the sound it makes when someone gets a present they don't like, and for your acclaimed book on the difficulties of spending a year using and eating things only made of silly putty. And your book was called Play Doh. Eleanor, it's lovely to have you on the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. I am. I'm mildly warmer than I would like to be.
Yeah, I get that. How hot is it in England where you reside?
It is, well, it is. I don't know what the degrees are, but it's like just past comfortably warm. So I think there's whatever that level is. Like I would be comfortable, but it's like a degree more than that. So you're just slightly going, just be. Where's the breeze? It's not in
Yeah,
your face.
breeze.
Yeah,
Breeze is nice.
yeah. How about you? What's it like in the Scotland?
The Scotland is quite nice actually. It says 18 degrees Celsius on my computer, which means I think it means my computer is 18 degrees. But it's nice. It's a good temperature for me. I like a medium temperature all year round.
Yes,
It could be 18 to 15 degrees all year round. I'd be happy.
I like that. I should just say for any American listeners, I think that's 4,072 Fahrenheit. I don't know.
It is.
I don't really know how it works, but 18 degrees Celsius is about 4,000.
It's about 4,000, yeah.
It's about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I agree. I think because lukewarm sounds like a terrible name for someone, but I think they're a hero, and whoever lukewarm is, that is the level of.
The only thing you don't want to be lukewarm is tea. You either want tea to be very hot or very cold. But the weather, I like lukewarm.
Yes. You said that tea is the only thing. Swimming pools should be lukewarm, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even on a hot day, you don't want to get in a freezing pool. Like, it's just weird. It's a weird feeling.
That's true. You don't. People say hot bath. They don't say a lukewarm bath. You probably want a hot bath.
Yeah, I guess so. You don't get the fun noise of getting in the bath if it's lukewarm, do you?
No, that's true.
The monkey noise.
Yeah. Lukewarm jelly. You wouldn't want lukewarm jelly.
No, I wouldn't actually. Maybe there's a flaw. Maybe there's a flaw in my philosophy here.
I mean, but I think you might be right that more things lukewarm than not. I just think it's important to work out the things that you definitely don't want lukewarm.
Absolutely.
So you don't make the mistake.
Scientifically, yes. I mean, if we take it back to the prodigal story of the three bears and the porridge, you don't want the porridge to be too hot, too cold. I actually don't know if lukewarm porridge would be very nice, but
yeah, that's a good point actually, because then it would just be a little. You kind of want porridge hot.
You do want porridge hot. I don't know. She was Goldilocks. She'd already broken into a house.
Yeah.
She obviously wasn't doing very well. So maybe she made bad choices that day. Generally,
I mean, that's one of those stories that again, Goldilocks is the sort of hero of the story, but she does break into a house. She ruins a bear's lives. Yep. She takes all their stuff. She breaks all their things, and then eats their food. And it's like. She should really be the villain in
Yeah, absolutely. Those bears were victims of housebreaking. She sleeps in their beds, which I think is very rude. You don't want someone. You want someone else in your bed, leaving their own bed crumbs. It's not nice.
And I mean, I don't know enough about bears, but bears generally now live in woods. They were living in houses with nice things, and I can't help but feel Goldilocks breaking and entering probably made them think, what's the point in us trying to be civilized? Why don't we just go back to how we were,
That was what it was like for the last, I think, up until about 200 years ago, bears did live in houses, and, they were doing well there. They had infrastructure in place. Then this happened and they thought, you know what, let's not integrate, let's go back to the woods. And that's caused a lot of bear human difficulties ever since then, actually.
It's all Goldilocks' fault.
Yeah, basically, not to blame one person, but she really, it didn't help the bear human trust bond, did it?
This is the problem, because I think most Goldilocks books we read or stories that we read or the kids read are probably written by Goldilocks or her descendants. We need one written from the point of view of the bears.
Yeah, it's a story about once upon a time, this girl broke into our house and used all our stuff and then got away with it.
Yeah, it's not right. I don't like her at all.
All right.
Yeah.
And you could look at all the fairy tales in perspective. What did any of them do wrong? Any of these that troll was just living under his bridge.
Yep. 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 The
It's
big.
very not Goat Who's very noisy. I've got an upstairs neighbour. They're always punting furniture around, so I get where he was coming from.
Yeah, and imagine if your upstairs neighbour was a goat. That'd be even worse.
Yeah, yeah, several goats.
That'd be terrible. It'd be awful. They'd eat all your stuff, and they'd eat all the bins, and
And they can jump. They can jump quite high as well, so they'd be jumping all over the place.
goats are really annoying. And I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, because I also feel like there's a Little Red Riding Hood. Obviously, that poor wolf just was hungry, wanted to eat a grandma.
What else? Wolves are carnivores. They eat meat. What else was he supposed to do? He can't, he can't eat mushrooms. His digestive system isn't appropriate for that. So,
Well, if you think about it, because Little Red Riding Hood, and maybe I'm misremembering the story, but I'm pretty sure she was taking cakes to her grandma. But if, however, she'd been taking, like, I don't know, a steak sandwich for the wolf, he probably wouldn't have eaten her grandma in the first. But it's about that, isn't it? She was
absolutely,
bringing the wrong food.
yeah, absolutely. And I think we just got to look. Critical thinking is something I think that's very absent in these stories.
Yeah.
And we need to look at it from everyone's perspective, and that's what creates a kind of world, Tian.
I like that. Less beanstalks interrupting giants, less annoying Goldilockses ruining bears' lives. I think
Exactly.
Let's change it. Let's change the story.
Exactly. Let's change the story. That's our slogan for that campaign.
Yes, that would that's very good. And have you been? I was going to say, have you been busy just sort of in lukewarm? I don't really know what you do in lukewarm temperatures. Do you sort of get on with things? Or...
Yeah, it's quite it's good weather to work in. You don't want to be too hot, too cold. What can you do? You can sit outside for a little bit,
but not too.
The light jacket on. That's good. Then go back in. You can. We've had a lot of rain actually. It was pretty rainy yesterday. I was scared it might flood, but it didn't. So
have you been sitting outside for small? I was just sort of finding out what you've been up to. Have you been sitting outside for small amounts of time, coming back in when it rains, sitting back outside again? Is that generally your life at the moment?
Yeah, because I read a book about you need to have a routine basically and keep to a routine, and that's how you get motivated to get through things. So I do about 2 hours of sitting out, and then depending on the weather, I'll come in for an hour, and then it's 2 out again, and that sort of leads me up. A couple of those leads me up to about lunchtime, and then repeat in the afternoon, and then it's dinner. So
that's great. And are you sitting when you come back indoors again as well? So you sit outside, but then you sit indoors.
I don't sit indoors, because I've already done a lot of sitting. Right. So you want to be standing inside,
right?
Which is great. You can get standing desks now. You can get, I need to stand for lots of things. It's kitchen, stand in the kitchen.
What about roly-polies? Do you do them at any point?
I haven't been doing any roly-polies. I've been doing star jumps.
Oh, okay.
Just because I think the goats upstairs really, I'm just trying to make as much noise as they are.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Evened out, But yeah, mostly standing, pondering by the window.
Oh, that's interesting.
If you're going to stand by a window, you've got to look thoughtful.
Yes, because pondering, I should sort of point out, if any listeners, I mean, they're not confused, I am, is not just thinking about ponds, which is what I initially thought it was.
It is not. No, you can ponder on a pond, but it just means generally to have a think about something and look thoughtful while you're doing it. So
is that the most important thing? You don't actually, could your head be completely empty, but as long as you're pulling the right face, people think, they're pondering.
Yeah, and if it's raining outside, that makes it even better. Rain makes people look cleverer, I think. So you want to be doing that. You could think about ponds. You could think about, it's deep thinking. You could think about deep ponds. It all kind of comes together. But that's a great standing activity. And, you use a lot of core strength standing. So, because if you didn't, you'd fall over. So actually, it's a lot. You get a bit of a workout in as well.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's good. I didn't know that rain makes you seem clever as well. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you stand in hot weather pondering, people think probably should go in the shade.
Yeah, you look sillier.
You do look silly, yeah.
But all if you think about all your favorite films and books, all the important things take place in the rain, and that is because rain is more important than sunshine.
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah. So it's the language of film,
That's amazing.
dictates
I
that.
didn't realize there
Yeah.
was so much in. I didn't realize when you see rain in a film, is that powerful. I didn't know there was all
Hmm.
these extra messages about it.
Well, I've been to film school, so you see, I know these things. But someone like yourself might not, and that's why I do talks around the country about rain in films.
Right, and now you've also surprised me there because I didn't realize film school is a place. I thought it was just when they show school like in a film, and you just have to watch
Um,
that.
well, you are being filmed at the film school, which is a school,
Right,
so we do get shown ourselves at school as a sort of on a loop. But you also learn about films while you're there.
right. So that's confusing. So you're at film school
Mm.
watching yourself at school that's being filmed at the film school.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what, and you mostly learn this is what I would look like at the school
yeah.
that I'm at.
If you want to write a film about a school, it's great training.
That's really
If you
good
want to
training.
write, yeah, if you want to write a film about anything else, it's not as good. But yeah, lots of reflection on yourself and watching yourself is good for filmmaking. So,
That's
and
oh, sorry, go.
I was just gonna say, schools in films aren't always as realistic as they could be. So
So this
we're
is how
really
you make them
working on
realistic
that.
by just
Yeah.
watching, yeah. And is it as well because this film like some things have like a plastic film over them, or is the whole school covered in like sort of like a plastic film so when it rains it just slides off, it doesn't get any
Hmm.
food on it.
Only the expensive ones you have to pay
Right,
quite a lot
sure.
of extra money, and I got a grant. I got free money to go, which was I was very privileged. But yeah, that meant that the school was covered in a film, and that which was it was tricky if you wanted to go out.
Yeah.
You really had to commit to the course because that was it. You go in, they put the film over it, that's you in. So you did have to go, do I really want to spend a whole year of my life in a school covered in film? But I don't regret it. I think I learned a lot.
Yeah. But it's hard to look clever if you can't be out in the rain, I guess.
Yep. One of
Yeah.
the things I learned, you've got to be out in the rain if you want to look clever. Or just looking at the rain, close to some rain.
It sounds like an amazing, very useful experience in your
Hmm.
life. Wow, I knew nothing about it, and so thank you for
No, that's
for
okay.
telling
I
us
mean,
about it.
I've just saved you some money there. You don't have to go and, just tell you what I know. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's really handy, actually. Thanks.
Yeah,
I'll just
that's all
absolutely
right.
not go now, and I'll just use that
Well, it's,
information.
I think these places need to be more accessible. So if I could just tell you everything I learned, then
Could you send me a certificate saying I've learnt it all?
yeah, but it would be from the Eleanor Morton School of not going to film school. So if you're happy with that,
Yeah,
then
that's fine.
yes.
Is it?
Okay, great.
Do you use nice pens to write it?
It depends what pen I've got on me at the time.
Okay.
I do have one of those biros with multiple colours that you
nice.
push down.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so I could use one of those. And the paper is that nice sugar paper that comes in different colours.
Oh
so.
yeah, that's nice. Oh, that's lovely. I would
Yeah.
love that. Thank you. That
Yeah.
would be very kind.
And I might even do a little drawing of you, like with a camera or a clapperboard, just something, So when people look at it, they're like, "I know what this guy can do now."
That's really helpful. Thank
Yeah.
you. And then I can sort
That's
of
okay.
wave that at people, and they'll let me direct Star Wars or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's how Rian Johnson got in.
Yeah, I think that's how it works. I'm
Yeah.
sure it's how it works. Yeah. Wow. Well, listen, Eleanor, it's already so exciting talking to you. It's so lovely to have you back on the show. I've got a question that has been, well, in fact, it's a couple of questions really.
Sure.
But before we get to that, right, and I know you're going to be good for those questions, but I do have to ask you the Radio Nonsense admin questions, which I believe you've dealt with before. I say believe, I know, I asked them to you before. I just don't remember what I said when I did it last time, but it'll be the same things. So the first question is: this is an audio podcast. All of our listeners listen to this with their ears or maybe their bums or their knees. We don't discriminate, however they want to listen to it. And so I just wanted to check if you had a favourite noise that you could make for us.
Yeah, I think my favourite noise is huh.
Oh, that's a good
Mm,
noise.
yeah.
When would you use that?
When I'm pondering,
Mm.
when I'm pondering, when something has occurred to me that's interesting, and sometimes just randomly, to make the day more exciting.
It's very good. It also sounded like quite a thoughtful cat.
It did, didn't it? Yes, I learnt it from a cat.
Ah,
So that would. I'm glad that you picked that up actually, because I pride myself on, I'm a bit of an impressionist, so I pride myself that you did recognise that.
it was very good. Was the cat pondering at the time? Is that when you took it from a cat pondering moment?
I don't know. I mean, it looked like it was, but it had also just sort of had a little sit down on the ground, so it
Right, right.
might just have been a sit down noise.
Yes, and probably sitting outside for a bit before it goes back indoors to stand up and then comes back
Yeah,
out to sit down again.
yeah,
Yes. Can
exactly.
I just, I think it's very important to credit artists properly. Do you know the cat's name?
Um, I think the cat was called Tibbles,
Tibbles, right.
but
Right.
I couldn't tell you how that's spelt, so I might have to do some research and get back to you.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's just good to know that you just don't want to, if and I'm not saying that noise because obviously you've adapted the noise and you've used it for your own ways, which is very important and
Yeah,
also art in its own way. But I don't want to discredit Tibbles if
sure. I
Tibbles
mean,
was the original noisemaker.
yeah, and nothing exists in a vacuum. All art is based on other art, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's not. We're all just building on what comes before.
Yeah, I do. Maybe I'm being silly here, but when you hoover stuff up, there's stuff inside the vacuum bag. Does that stuff not exist anymore once you've hoovered it?
No, it's gone.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's powerful.
it's gone. Yeah,
I feel bad for all those Lego bits that have.
I know. I mean, have you ever seen them again?
No, never, never,
No.
ever.
There you go.
Gosh, people need to be a lot more careful when
They
hoovering.
really do, because I've known people whose grandmothers have been hoovered up.
Wow,
And it's very difficult to overcome that as a family.
that
So
is that is vicious. Wow. Well,
mm.
that's why cleaning is bad.
I
I
know
just
it
put it
sounds
out there.
yeah, I know it sounds dark, but I think it's good for people to be aware.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why cleaning. Just when you're grown up, say tidy your room. It's like don't because you could cause it to stop existing.
Yeah, yeah. So just always be alert, I suppose, is the.
Yeah, always, always, always be alert. With great advice and thank you for that fantastic noise. That was a brilliant noise. Could I just have it one more time?
Hmm.
Very good. It's very good. I'm very impressed. We haven't had that on the show before, and it's a fantastic sound, and I hope listeners will use it when they too are pondering. Obviously, as long as they've got the copyright to do so. Right, and the other question I do have to ask you before we get into the real questions is that this is a family friendly podcast. It's suitable for
Sure.
people of all ages, any age you can imagine. I don't know if you're able to imagine an age, Eleanor.
502.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
502.
Okay. Great.
Fine for all ages, not 100. Long story, but every other age, absolutely fine. And so I just want to check if there are any rude words you won't be saying.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I take it very seriously. I will not be saying bum flaps at any point.
Right.
So,
Phew. Thank
yeah,
you.
that's
Yeah.
okay. I know that people have said bum flaps in the past, and I don't want to repeat that. So, no bum flaps will be discussed by me.
Well, that's great. And I could I also ask you don't say the singular bum flap.
Oh, yes, of course.
Obviously not as offensive.
No, no, but bum flap is it's all in the same category, really. So, no, bum flap I will not say. Bum flaps I will not say.
Mhm.
I think that's all of the variations, and none of them will pass my lips.
Great. Bum flappery as well, if we could avoid.
Bum flappery,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
More of a sort of adjective, I suppose, is
Yes,
it?
I think so. I think so. I just want to make sure. I mean,
No,
I'm very appreciative.
no,
You won't say bum
absolutely,
flaps, but
absolutely.
if we can just make sure, because it is the sort of thing that would get us shut down.
Yeah, no, I do understand that. Bum flap is um it's difficult, isn't it? This day and age, we've really got to walk thin lines
Yes, yes.
when
Which
it
is
comes to language, yeah.
very hard if you have big
So no, I
shoes.
won't say bum flaps.
Well, thank you for not saying bum flaps. I certainly wouldn't dare say bum flaps.
I will
Show
not be
you.
saying bum flaps, so don't worry about it.
Thank you very much. Now, Eleanor, we've got two questions that have been sent in.
Mm.
These are from Elsie, aged 99.999999, aka 7 farming penguins. Now, I don't know if you know the farming penguins, sort of how you calculate farming penguins' age to human age, but I think that's 7 farming penguins is approximately 99.99999 years old, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's that, about 15 years per penguin or something?
I think that's how it works. It's just under, because obviously if Elsie was 100 years old, she wouldn't be able to listen to his podcast. So she's just on the cusp of not. She sent this a little while ago. There's a chance she can't actually hear this episode, which would make this pointless. But as it is, I'm going to pretend she's remained exactly that age.
I mean, it's lucky she has, because it's not a podcast for people who are 100, is it?
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. It would be illegal for her to listen in as soon as she hits that age. So I'm hoping that she's got enough time to tune in, or she has to wait till she's 101. It's one or the other. That's the rules. I don't make them. So well, Elsie, though, she's asked 2 questions. Would you like them one at a time, or both at the same time, or in reverse order, or in a high pitched voice? Or how would you like me to deliver them?
Can I have them in a high-pitched voice, please?
Both at the same time in a high pitched voice?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, let's try.
Are moustaches just really long nose hairs? And will her eyeballs ever touch another human's eyeballs?
How was that?
That was great. So the question is, can a human's eyeballs ever touch another human's
That's
eyeball?
question 2. Question 1 is, are moustaches just really long nose hairs? And then, will her eyeballs ever touch another human's eyeballs?
Great. Okay. Would you like me to? Is there a preference in answer order, or
No, whichever you think should be tackled first. Is either of them more important, do you think?
Well, the moustache hair, that's a good question. Of course, only certain people can grow moustaches, but we all have nose hair, and you can only grow a moustache, as far as I'm aware. This is all the modern, the most up to date science. So, and I'm not a scientist.
Right.
You can only grow a moustache if you have been a colonel in an old fashioned army, or if you are the late great Freddie Mercury, and so we'd have to kind of. That's it.
Right.
So we'd have to ask some of those people, at what point did they feel the nose hair become the moustache hair, or was it always separate? I do believe there was a record for nose hair growth. I believe an Italian man in 1992, I can't remember his name. I believe he got his to plaiting length.
Wow.
Yes, but I think it made eating spaghetti very difficult. So I do think after he got the record, he did trim it down, which was disappointing, obviously, because once you've reached that goal, why ever let it go? That's what I say.
Yeah, that feels like a sad shame, doesn't it? And also, like, until that point, he's known as the nose hair guy. Then he gets rid of them, and everyone's like, "Who are you? What do you do?"
Yeah, just a guy who can eat spaghetti normally.
Yeah.
And there's loads of them. Who wants that?
Well, that is it. I mean, unless he can do it while wearing a white t-shirt and not get any sauce on the t-shirt, then it's not remarkable.
I don't think he was that talented.
Well, there you go. There you go. It's tricky though, because there's definitely a point where if you grow a moustache big enough, it tickles your nose, and if you grow nose hairs long enough, they tickle your lip. So there must be a point, like like how where the sand is, and that's the beach, and then where the sea starts. There's a point where right, that's the sea, that's the sand. There must be a point where that's nose hair and that's moustache.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting that you asked me this, Tim, because I feel like you're more qualified to answer this than I am. Have you got? I mean, I don't want to blow your cover. Right. I don't want to dox you, but I can see your face, and you do have what I would describe, and I'm not in the room, I would describe as facial hair, a beard and a moustache.
I mean, this is awkward because obviously you have revealed this now to the listener, and until then it was completely anonymous. They had no idea what I looked like. But I mean, also just between you and me, Eleanor, I feel a bit uncomfortable admitting this, but I've just drawn this on with crayon.
You see, that's why I was hesitant, to bring it up. I was like, it could be crayon, But I don't want to come in and say, "Is that crayon?" Because that's rude.
I'd say the problem. I kept having the problem where people would look at me and go, "Are you an old baby?" And I'd have to say, "No, I'm a grown up." Even though I don't like, even though grown ups are boring, I'm
They are,
a
yeah.
grown up.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not an old baby. And the
No.
only thing that stopped that was I had to draw on a beard.
Draw the moustache,
And
yeah,
now they
okay.
say, "Are you a bear who's shaved around the eyes?" And I say, "Yes." My
Yes.
life was ruined by Goldilocks, and that's
Yeah,
why
you have to live in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, is any of the crayon in your nose, or?
Yes, I'm very bad at crayoning, so yes, a lot of it is in my nose. It's awful.
So in a way, it is your nose hair.
Yes, that's a very good
Yeah.
point, actually.
Yeah. There you go.
That is a very,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. It's all about study cases.
Yep.
And if we can find some more people who do have, maybe a crayon beard or maybe a real beard. Not that real beard is better, obviously. We can ask them. We can do a survey. We can do a bar chart. We could graph it, and that's the scientific method, because you can't answer these questions without making sure you've got, the right kind of methods in place. It's very important.
It's very important. Hopefully, Elsie can find some. Was it sergeants from old army films?
Yeah, you got to be from an army in the past, not current day army.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
Army in the past, and Freddie Mercury.
And Freddie Mercury. Yes. So hopefully Elsie can talk to. Probably be easier to find an army from the past. I don't know. It's very hard to say.
We'll see.
Wow. Well, thank you. That's. I feel like even though it's hard to find an exact answer, hopefully that will be of help to Elsie.
Yeah, I hope so. The thing is, we're all trying to find answers, aren't we? So
every
if
day
we can get Elsie closer to what she wants to know, then
that's
part of our job done.
But can you answer her second question, which is, will her eyeballs ever touch another human's eyeballs?
I don't want to limit Elsie. I don't want to say never. I think that's negative, especially to younger people, growing people. You've got to let them know that options are out there. Mm-hmm. It really depends on a couple of factors. Now, first of all, how big are the noses involved?
Oh, yes.
Because if you're trying to touch your eyeballs with someone else's eyeballs and you've both got quite protuberant noses, that could get in the way. But if you're both, for example, an animal, like maybe a frog, something with very flat faces but big bulbous eyes, that's going to be a lot easier.
That's a point. Actually, we don't know for sure that Elsie isn't a frog. I should just say she hasn't specified not a frog in this.
Only her age, yeah.
Yeah. So that is possible. What if she had those? I've seen them before. They're almost like the eyes on springs, and they kind of boing out. You put the glasses on, and then your eyes boing out on springs.
Yeah.
Would that help?
It might help. I mean, you wouldn't want both of you to have that, because then your eyes are probably going to miss each other because they're going to be bouncing around. So it's going to be. I think it's hard to actually make contact.
Yes,
but certainly that could help. The other thing is, if you are a Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
You can just temporarily remove the eyeball and then put it back in again. I'd say that's the easiest thing to do.
That's true, isn't it? And am I right in thinking? I think I've seen zombies do that as well.
Zombies, Frankenstein's monster. There's a couple of other people. Ghouls, I think ghouls could probably do it.
Ghouls,
Ghouls, yeah. So if you're any one of those, then I'd say absolutely go for it. Otherwise, it might be tricky.
That is tricky. And I have realized, because Elsie hasn't said she's not a Frankenstein's monster, she's not a zombie or not a ghoul, but she does say touch another human's eyeballs. But I guess that could just mean another human to one whose eyeballs she's already touched.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe she's already done it and she wants to touch as many humans' eyeballs as possible.
Yeah.
And who are we to stand in her way?
It's a very good point. You've got to have a goal and a dream. And I think it's lovely if that is Elsie's dream. She just wants her eyeballs to touch another human's eyeballs. Who
it's nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Have your eyeballs ever touched another human's eyeballs?
Not yet.
No, but you.
But never say never.
Yeah, try. I've never even. I have to say, I've never even thought about it, and now I may spend my afternoon giving it a go. Just in.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, you know what? Again, humans tricky. Snails, very easy.
Oh, yes. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Ah,
So don't limit yourself by species because that just takes out a whole load of options.
yeah. I've another reason to be jealous of snails. Also, they're in the rain a lot. They're always looking clever.
There's so many, and they carry their houses on their backs.
Yeah, and they've only got 1 foot, so like a pair of trainers lasts ages.
Yeah, you're already a homeowner the second you're born. You've got, you got 1 foot, saves on trainers. You're having a great time.
Snails. It's just so unfair. It is
It is.
unfair. Yeah.
It is.
Wow. Well, listen, Eleanor, thank you. That was some fantastic answers, and I do
I
hope
hope so.
Elsie, aged 7 farming penguins, has enjoyed. Unless, of course, she is now 7.2 farming penguins and too old to listen to the podcast, obviously.
We can only hope not.
Yes, we can only hope not. Well, thank you so much. And how about you? Have you got a busy rest of the day? You're going to sit outside for a bit and then come back in and stand up and then sit outside again for a bit?
Yeah, it's not raining yet, so I'll give it a go and we'll just see what happens, I suppose. It's actually we're recording this on the summer solstice, which is the longest day of the year. So
Yeah,
I can actually get a lot in today.
that is true.
Way
Yeah.
more than normal. So
That
yeah.
is true. It goes the day. It's the longest day of the year. It goes on for several months, doesn't it? Is that right? Is that how it works?
In Iceland it does.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Here it's a bit shorter.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
goodness for that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. That's good. I was worried about when I'd go to bed. Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, and thank you so much. Enjoy your longest day of the year, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
I'm gonna read your mind.
Thanks so much to Eleanor Morton for joining the podcast yet again with all of her wisdom. And Elsie, look, I do hope you liked your answer. And if not, please write any complaints you have on your nose hairs, and I won't see them until they grow long enough to be a moustache. And of course, if you have any questions that you need answering, or you just want to send in anything you like, then please do get your irate saddle geese, grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. And if those very same grown-ups want to support this show, they can do it by subscribing to the advert-free Linda edition for a very small, very eeny, teeny, weeny fee, which they can do at the Acast Plus link at the bottom of the podcast blurb. You can also come and see us live by checking our shows at comedyclubforkids.co.uk or grab a Linda, Stinky Hippo or Radio Nonsense t-shirt at comedyclubforkids.store. Oh, and look, I'm not going to lie, listeners, I was really excited about being psychic, but that trash fairy, because it's such a little trash fairy, made it so I can hear absolutely everyone's thoughts. And let me tell you, it is awful. I can hear how you over there, yes, you've got a really annoying spiky bogey and it's all you can think about. Just pick it. Just get rid of it. It's really annoying. Or how you over there, you've got the most irritating song stuck in your head again and again and again and again. Now it's stuck again in my head and I hate it. Or how you over there, you just want to know why that pigeon keeps staring at you. And the pigeon just keeps thinking, why is that human staring at me? And then don't get me started on all your grown-ups. They're all just having thoughts about wanting another coffee or a sit-down or a coffee and a sit-down. And, oh, I feel so bloated. And what about banks and mortgages? And, oh, my goodness, it's so boring. Dustbin Fairy, or for US listeners, Trash Fairy.
Howdy!
I need some help, please. This is awful. Hearing everyone's thoughts is awful.
You already had one wish, though, so I can only undo what I already did.
Yeah, okay, that's very strange. But that works, because I don't need a new wish, I just don't want to be psychic anymore.
Oakley crookily, controls and magic!
Why did I just hear Batman thinking he'd fired me? No, I said psychic, not sidekick. I don't want to hear thoughts anymore.
Oakley crookily, controls and magic! Now bye, I gotta go to the shops and buy trash.
Okay, bye. Well, phew, I mean, that was easier than I thought. I can't hear any thoughts anymore, and that's lovely. It's so nice and so quiet. But wait, I can't hear any thoughts anymore, not even my own thoughts. Why is my head so empty? Oh no, it's so empty. I wish I knew what to do about it, but I can't work it out. I've got no thoughts and I can't hear them. How do I know what to do next? I don't know. Is it bye? I can't work it out. Bye. You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents. Radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.